Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly forecast. This is for the week of August 21st through the 27th. That's a Monday through a Sunday. I'm posting this a little bit early this week for two reasons. One, we have a really big celestial event happening next week. Of course, I'm alluding to the eclipse, and I want to give us as much time as possible to plan for that. I also have a small personal reason. I have an elective surgery coming up this Friday the 18th, and nothing to be concerned about. I'm just getting a deviated septum fixed. So please be patient with me, as I probably will not be online looking at emails or comments or anything until early next week. I should be back next weekend to post the following week's video, but if I am a little bit delayed in anything, just understand that there's actually a health reason behind it. It's not because I'm not trying. All right, with that being said, I want to get straight into the channeled information for next week. Now, as you've probably noticed this week, there's been a lot of heightened emotions. We see it on a world stage with a lot of, a lot of protests, a lot of anger, a lot of communication about that. And it's not just here in the States. There's things going on in Spain and elsewhere. And part of that actually is some of the eclipse energy. It excites or it agitates people's sensibilities a bit. And with that being said, what we want to do is to try to stay as even and as focused as possible. So two things that I'm going to ask or encourage you to do to prepare for it. The first thing is to be very clear and specific in what you want to accomplish next week, and also if you want to tap into the energy of the eclipse, which is all about catalysts and change making, then I want you to be clear about what changes you want to make. It's even better if you do one and stick with it. So pick a change or pick an element of your life that you want to evolve, and then work on that next week. But don't try to cast too broad of a net. It should be really focused next week. So specificity and focus. Mental focus here, it would be like trying to filter out some of the emotions and stay in a place of neutrality. It's going to be really key, especially Sunday, Monday. I think Tuesday will start to ease a bit, but I've already started to feel the effects of the eclipse well in advance of it. I think a lot of you have as well. The good news is it's a very good change agent. So once you're ready, again, it's coupled with retrograde, you can do a lot of very interesting and positive things in your life if you tap into it and embrace it. All right? So with all of that being said, let's take a look now at blessings and blocks for the week. Blessings, of course, being higher frequency or opportunistic energies, and then the blocks being things that we need to try to transmute or to step away from. So your blessing for the week of the 21st, we have Lord Ganesh here, or Ganesha, and it says infinite abundance. And I really want you to feel, see, and appreciate the areas in your life in which you have abundance. Some of you may have a lot of love, some of you may have a lot of ideas, others might have a lot of money, or just good health, even if some of these other things aren't there. So prayers to the divine and also affecting positive change and bringing in new fortune always begins with appreciation for that which we already have. And I always begin the reading. You don't really see this part. I do a benediction before I do the reading. I call in guidance. I give appreciation. I ask that my own ego and energy step aside, and then I can be a channel. But I always start with saying thank you so much for allowing me to be present and allowing the energy to come in. So I want you to do the same next week, because that's what's going to happen with the eclipse. And I want you to think about what in your life is abundant and you appreciate. And I think all of us have something that we can attach to that's either, a big family, like I said, or a lot of energies. Even if a lot of everything else isn't going well, you may just have a renewed sense of vigor and hope. So whatever it is in your life that you're feeling welling up right now, I want you to offer that as gratitude and say, thank you so much. I want to share more of my life, more of my energy. Allow for me to be present, to be appreciative, and to observe the signs that you're sending my way, something like that. Ganesh is also great for letting go of any sort of hindrances in your life. This is in the blessings area, but you can pray to Ganesha or meditate on Ganesha about anything that you're afraid of or you want to release. So with Monday being a key day to sort of let go, you could say, I'm ready to let go of my attachment to X, Y, or Z. So this will be your chance to do that. You have the blessing and the welcoming of Lord Ganesha. So embrace that. Let's take a look now and see what the lower frequency energy is, and also how to overcome it. The card itself will not always show the lower frequency, it may show the way to overcome it. And what we have here is clarity, and I think that really fits well with what I was tuning into, this focus card, the specificity. So what I want you to do for helping to avoid like misunderstandings in personal relationships, I want you to kind of clear out your own emotional garbage or your own filters if you're having a difficult conversation, and also be really clear on what you expect from other people. A lot of times the reason things don't go well in a relationship, it can kind of boil down to you expect someone to do something but don't communicate it. They don't understand why you're angry about it, and then there's this sort of crossfire. And so the clearer you are, the better. The other thing is when you're trying to manifest and you want to get a job, create some sort of an opportunity in your life, the clarity is what's going to really bring in that opportunity for you. You have to know, believe, and see what you want and what you are trying to bring to fruition before the universe can respond. Because otherwise, if you're clouded and you're trying to do like 6 things at once, it's kind of like a pinball machine. It will try and hit whatever it can, but you may not have as much success. So again, focus on abundance and everything that is really going well and that you've been blessed with, and then focus on clarifying what it is you want to work on. So if you really embrace these 2 things, it should be a nice start to the next week. All right, let's now take a look at the next week ahead to see what sort of energy is coming through. I'll give this another good shuffle. There we go. We'll start first with the work week itself. And take a look at the weekend. So we start off in a really good place actually for an eclipse event especially. We have the 10 of Pentacles, it is reversed. With the 10 of Pentacles in this position, what we're really looking at is, first of all, strength with money, anything that you need to discuss or look at, particularly revising budgets. This isn't necessarily a time that you want to start something fresh, but if you want to do research, if you want to revise a budget, fantastic. There is going to be a need to probably dig in, for some of you, into your savings, or to look at how you can adjust your spending over the next few months. That's why the card was reversed. Now, for those of you that are free of money worries on Monday, the 10 of Pentacles is also associated with friends, families, and social obligations. So I want you to try not to overextend yourself on Monday. And you'll notice here that there's some idle time, or there might be some chance for you to kind of trim up your schedule a bit so that you're not staying late perhaps at work, or if there's anything that's just happening and it feels unnecessary to the task at hand, or that someone might be taking advantage of your generosity or wasting your time, what you could do is, in a very, very subtle and polite way, say, well, it's been great catching up, but I'm so sorry, I'm under deadline, I got to get back to work. Let's chat again later, or just cut it at that, because you don't necessarily want to create an open connection if someone isn't respecting your time. You can just say, well, thank you so much, I'm gonna get back to work, you have a great day. You can leave limits at that, and think about it on the recipient side. If you hear that, you think, okay, I'm gonna get back to work. So be direct, be clear on what your goals are, and on this day, if other people are trying to pull your energy, your resources, because the Pentacles don't always have to do with money. The resources can be time, energy, effort, thought. All of these things require an expense, or for us to spend something that we have in our reserves. So I want you to honor your reserves, give only to those who really need it and or who you'd like to, and say no if you need to. If you do that, 10 of Pentacles is a very good card. You've got a lot of support, you're well respected, it's a good day, particularly for those of you in business or finance, so don't stress out. The one thing that I will say with this, being that it's on the eclipse and it's an earth card and it's reversed, I really want you to focus on grounding the day before, the morning of, the evening after the eclipse. And grounding can be as simple as just making sure that you take time throughout the day to go outside, to bring your own thoughts to a place of neutrality. So if there's a heightened emotional mood, we talked about that a little in the channeled message, that you find a way to, in your mind, kind of even it out, articulate why this might be happening, rather than just feeling your way through it. There are plenty of days and points in your life where it makes sense to think it and sort of decide with your heart. Monday's a day to sort of focus more on your head, your third eye, your seventh chakra if you want to as well. You know, you can connect. Higher knowledge is great on Monday, but try not to get too much in the heart of things on Monday. The clearer you are, the easier it is for the universe to help you out. Tuesday's a great day. This is much better for creating, we were talking about the budgets, or spending, or executing a contract. Also trying to make, for those of you that want to somehow assert yourselves. This could be about talking to a loved one about something that you've been meaning to bring up for a long time. It could have been years, it could have been days, whatever. This can be your day to state your truth. It can also be a day to make a big announcement. But it's an announcement that has probably something to do with success or achievement or a goal. It's not so much just you know, hey, I'm here. It's more, I want to announce this about myself, or this about the business, or you're stating intentions, basically. Keep an eye on your money. Looks pretty good. The card is upright, but it's a good day to analyze and assess money matters. And the other thing here is look around you and kind of make sure that you're not missing out on any opportunities. With this particular King of Pentacles card, there's a lot of people, a lot of opportunities, and he seems to be a lot more focused on the coin in front of him. So, you know, while it's good to understand what your bottom line is, take a bigger view and make sure you're not missing something on the horizon. And this goes for everything. It could be a relationship opportunity where you decided that, you know, it wasn't worth being friends with someone, and meanwhile, you never know what that opportunity could have brought you. It could have brought love, it could have brought you meeting other friends, or it could have brought maybe a new business opportunity. So look at partnerships and look at business ventures around you and see if there's something that you might not be capitalizing on. So really broad mind and perspective on Tuesday. I want you to go specific on Monday. You can broaden it out on Tuesday. And there's a further sort of allowing for daydreaming that happens when we look at Wednesday. A lot of times I will caution people when I get this card and say, now I want you to rein it in. Because in this deck, there's no person associated with it. This is more about you. I want you to kind of like take a bird's eye view. So it's almost like we're going very specific on Monday, broadening out a little on Tuesday. And by the time Wednesday comes, hopefully you now have enough information and energy to see things from other people's perspectives. So for this card, what I'm actually reading more into is empathy. Empathy for other people in your life, and as loved ones, as coworkers, but also, and I think this is something the world needs right now, empathy for fellow members of the world, humankind, and for all of us not to sort of get lost in the chaos right now. Now, I know that that's a tough order for many of us to kind of deal with when there's so much going on right now, and it really is difficult to sometimes escape negativity, either in on TV, online. I was even walking down the street the other day and paid attention to how many no signs there were, like no parking, no soliciting, no this, no that, and we need more affirmation in our life. So what I'd like for you to do on Wednesday is to find things that bring a sense of unity, of affirmation, of kindness to one another. Because if you've had the sort of graceful experience, or I should say the gift of having either a past life flashback, a near-death experience, or anything in your life that connects you with the ethers, with God, with the divine, whatever you want to call it, suddenly everything shifts. You realize all of the stuff that's going on around you, it has its purpose. It's interesting, but it ends up being sort of like a play. So when you look at politics, when you look at corporate events, when you look at even some of the stuff that you're seeing in reality television and social media, what it really becomes is, it's like a lesson in entertainment. And what we want to do now is focus on how the soul has no age, well, I mean, we have ages as souls, but what I'm talking about is in this human life, whether I'm 7, 77, I still have a purpose, and I'm still an eternal soul within that age of that vessel. Also, hair color, eye color, skin color, place of origin, ethnic sort of background. All of these things, religions, language that you speak or languages that you speak, these things are window dressings to the soul. And a lot of what's going on right now is people are paying too much attention to the window dressings and not enough to what's behind the window. And so no more than you would judge me by the color of my shirt, you shouldn't judge me by the color of my hair or what country I live in or what language I speak. So I really want us to try, especially with the acts of terror and some of the crazy stuff that we've seen over the past few weeks, to reach out to someone in your life and say, I love you, I appreciate you, and include them. So Wednesday's a day of inclusiveness and seeing the commonalities between everything and thinking differently, thinking outside of your box. And so this is one time when I'm seeing this card, the Seven of Cups, where I say, it's okay. I want you to look at all of the opportunities around you. You can always center again and go back to what we were talking about, your area of focus. But it's all right to do a little daydreaming on Wednesday. The energy wants you to do it. And I think it's especially helpful and healing to do so if you have a message of hope or inclusiveness for someone in your life that feels like an outsider. So reach out, let them know you care, let them know they're part of your world and that you see them for who they are. All right, back to more relevant. Okay, well, one last thing with that. This can include someone with whom you're estranged, like former lover, your parent, your sister, your child, whatever. There's someone in your life that you've put on the outside, on the berm. This is your chance to bring them back in and say, hey, I just wanted to check in. You don't have to apologize. You could also just, in your mind, try to empathize with what might have happened. And at least on an energetic level, let it go. Sometimes it is better to not have to kind of pick up the phone and deal with a difficult person. But if you let go of the power that they have over you, then you free them and you free yourself for better things. As we look at Thursday, we have the Emperor card, which is showing that it's a really great day for dealing with making big decisions, any sort of presentations that you need to make, announcements that you need to do, a good day for physical activity. Overall, you're feeling very strong. You want to, I would say, utilize this energy as much as possible, and it's a day when you shouldn't be a wallflower, if I had to kind of sum it up. Be bold, be decisive, get done what you need to get done, and don't be afraid to speak out and say something that you've been wanting to for a long time. You're in a position of power on Thursday. All right, as I look at Friday, this is one day where I really want you to focus on taking care of yourself. For me, a lot of times, the Queen of Pentacles card can be a nurturing card. It's one of mothers, of nesting, of domestic attention, etc. And so what I see with this is a need and a desire to keep a little bit more to yourself. We talked about in the middle of the week, you might want to reach out and help someone and heal someone. This day, I want you to put the healing on yourself. Pay attention to how you're taking care of your body, what you're putting into your body, and also healing your heart. If someone has hurt you, ask for help, find a way to be healed. And spend some time with loved ones. You see there's a lot of, this person's out in nature, so we talked about grounding. Also, if you have pets or loved ones in your life that make you feel loved and are loyal to you, this is a great day to connect with them. Maybe if you could take a day off or something, that's a great day for a personal day, for a vacation day, etc. All right, especially because as we look at the weekend here, we have the Ten of Swords on Saturday. I really want you to avoid unnecessary physical activities on this day. If there's any sort of persistent pain in your body, it doesn't have to just be the neck and back, although a lot of times this card indicates that, then please take care of that. Either go to the doctor, get an adjustment at a chiropractor. The other thing that I see with this card is an end. A lot of times this is one of the most binary ending cards that I can get, like it's finished. So if you've had an argument with someone, this is the day where you're just ready to let it all go. You're ready to move on. Or there's someone in your life who might have tested your loyalties, or they weren't loyal to you, in other words, or there's a big disappointment. Whatever it is, be so grateful that it came through and you know where you stand with that person, place, or thing, and make a decision to yourself, if you're ready, that enough is enough and you're ready to move on. As we look at the very last day of the week, really good time to spend on kind of resetting any learnings that you want to do. So if you are looking now maybe at becoming a student and registering for the next semester, this is a good time to do that. If you wanted to do some personal improvement, whether it's learning how to cope with something, learning a language, or any sort of higher learning, really great. Also, if you're seeking the approval of others, it's a good day for that, but I would say you've got to trust yourself first. The card was reversed, so if you are doing any of these things, higher learning, seeking approvals, etc., I really want you to focus on understanding that the self-worth begins within your own heart. Other people will recognize that once you recognize your own power and strength. So before we go to the end, I want to review this one more time, because sometimes after I do 12 signs, it's a lot and I can't remember all of this. I want to do it while we're fresh, and then I'll do a very brief review at the end. Monday, really good day for you to focus on putting up some limits, especially if anyone's trying to take too much energy, time, or emotions from you. Be kind, but be firm. Remember, it's all about focus and specificity, and Monday is the day of the week during which you're going to have the most focus. Tuesday, this is a day where you can put a lot of energy into business and into relationships, but this is all about strategic relationships, making sure that you're not missing out on an opportunity, not paying so much attention to the bottom line that you're not thinking maybe about how to spend or grow your money, or how you might want to broaden your own horizons. But this is when we start to see the specificity arcing out. You're a little bit more expansive. By the time you hit the middle of the week, I really want you to focus on empathy and inclusiveness, exploring options, maybe not making a decision, but just exploring the options. By the time you get to Thursday, fantastic time for you to make a decision based on everything you've taken in on the first 3 days. Again, one last thing with Wednesday is, remember, if there's someone in your life that needs love, if you're still in school and there's someone that sits alone all the time but kind of seeks company or attention, maybe sit by this person. Same thing happens when you're older and you see someone at work and they kind of wish they had company. Go and say hello. I still remember when I was a kid, someone came on the bus when I was brand new and just introduced himself and said, "Hey, my name is, and welcome to the neighborhood." And never forgot that. Till the day I die, I think, wow, that person really went out of their way, and it changed my whole week, my whole month. I thought, this is a good place. I moved to a cool place. So don't underestimate the power of a handshake, a hello, or one lunch with somebody that you've never talked to before. As we look at Friday, I want you to focus on self-care, taking special care of what you're putting in your body and how you feel, especially because Saturday looks like it could be a little bit tricky, so don't overdo it. And if there is something in your life that's taxing you or stressing you out, by the time Sunday comes in, I want you to let that go and focus more on self-worth, self-improvement, but for the whole reason of you want to do it, not because you're seeking it from someone else or someone's pressuring you to do it. All right, now I'm going to switch decks and we're going to take a look at all 12 signs, including both channeled information and supplemental information from the cards. Let's begin with Aries. Aries, your channeled information is to really think before you make any key decisions, or also before you're just speaking in general this week. So whether you're speaking in a social engagement at home or even at work, I really want you to weigh out all of the information, also to whom you're speaking, the crowd, the audience, and make sure that you take into account all of the pros and cons before you say something. So with that in mind, let's now look and see what additional insights the cards might yield for you. So what we have here's the Empress in reverse. The Empress is all about being able to manifest things, also being able to control things, and it also has to do with relationships between mothers and children, or more broadly, sometimes parents and children, but it is much more of a maternal card. So if you're feeling any sort of difficulties in creating this week, for those of you that are artists, you could have a little bit of a blockage towards the beginning of the week. What I want you to try to do is to stretch out and do something completely different than you normally would try. So if you're painting. Maybe you put down one painting and you start something else, or you try a different technique, or if you're a writer, you work on another project. And if you're in business and there's something that, like a budget, you've been trying to figure out how to make the numbers work and everything, this is a chance for you to just sort of shift gears, let your mind relax on something else. It can still be busy, but you want it to relax a bit. Once you do that, you'll ground yourself again, because this card is showing a lack of grounding. So I think for you, Thursday or Friday is going to be a lot, Thursday in particular will be a lot easier because we have the Emperor card. So I feel like give yourself the first 2 or 3 days of the week to kind of sort things out, unless you have a pressing reason to make the decision or reason to move forward. And then towards the end of the week, it'll be a lot easier. The reversal of this card is speaking to your need for grounding, which we talked about on Monday. That's why I think this would be an especially difficult time for you to have to make big decisions on Monday. So work on your grounding, and remember that if you have to make a decision, get more information, because it may not have the support, or it may not get the support that you want it to, okay? So let's take a look now at Taurus. And for you, it's what I actually got was like a squared symbol, so it's the power of 2 this week. It's going to be so much easier for you to work in a team, or to reach out and have someone else kind of take a second look or a second listen to whatever it is that you're doing. They might, with that sort of gentle, loving, yet critical eye, something is going to be caught and fixed before other people notice, or there's that opportunity. Also, I just feel like it'll be a lot more enjoyable for you this week if you partner up with someone, whether it's for fun or for work. Now let's move along to Taurus. Taurus, the main information that I'm getting for you is to approach this week with a clean slate. If there's anything that you've been holding over from the previous week, it's frustration, anxiety, excitement, whatever, I really want you to come towards Monday with a much more neutral sense of what's going on, and allow for new things to happen. So no preconceptions, and that's going to allow for people around you to come up with new ideas, and if you're in a relationship, it's going to help you let go of baggage and things like that. So think of this week as opportunity rather than history, and I think that's going to help you out. So let's look now and see what the cards say about the week ahead for you. We have the 5 of Swords here, and the 5 of Swords is reversed. 5 of Swords for me usually indicates a chance to work on issues of your own trust, trusting yourself, trusting your own intuition, also trusting those that are in your immediate vicinity, making sure that, you know, if you're a manager or if you're leading a team of volunteers, that everybody's motivated. And so sometimes that falls back on you to keep people in a place of feeling appreciated and energized and motivated. But if there is anyone in your life that you don't feel like you trust, this card is about letting go of that, not letting things fester, in other words. The other part of this, it's usually more so with the 5 of Wands than the 5 of Swords, but there's a need to push through things. So there's always opportunities, or usually opportunities, I should say, with the 5s. But work and persistence is a key element that goes throughout all of them. Whether it's the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, all of these cards, you could either sit in the moment or you can push through to the future. And it's pretty consistent on all of them. What I want you to do now is, in matters of communication, since swords have a lot more to do with communication, I want you to think about, is there anybody that isn't doing their part to speak up? And if so, then it's your job to pick up the phone, send an email, or somehow initiate communication. Now let's take a look at Gemini. Gemini, your information this week has 2 components. The first is preparation. So since you're seeing this prior to next week, I want you to spend some time this weekend doing some homework, doing some preparation for anything that's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So if there's something big that you need to do in the world, whether it's to give a speech or to go to court and do some sort of litigation, or somehow maybe file a paperwork that requires approvals, I want you to make sure that everything has been done. That's the second part of it. It's about completion. I was seeing someone like filling in cracks. So if there's anything that you either haven't completed or need some assistance in perfecting or polishing, get a second or third set of eyes to take a look at what you're working on and really make sure that everything is foundationally safe. This also includes anyone that's in construction. I want you to take a second look at walls and foundations, anything that would be, or load-bearing walls and things like that. So in the matter of business, it's about small details that could throw something off in an approval process. In a court case, a minor detail could get you either over to the other side and get a good verdict for you, or you could lose. So I want you to really pay attention to the small details. They're going to have really big ramifications, positive or negative, this week. And now let's take a look at the cards and see what additional insights are coming through for you. Your supplemental information this week is the Wheel of Fortune. So I think, generally speaking, you have very good energy that's coming through for this week. And notice too that the sun is sort of like an eclipsed sun here, which I love. So embrace the opportunity, do your homework on the small details. Preparation is going to be key, but for all things here, I think that you're in a pretty good place. This is also like a dream catcher. So for those of you that might be in a place where you're frustrated, you're feeling like you don't have what you want, or you're not ending up in this sort of career or whatever it is that you'd anticipated, this card is really about setting intentions this week and starting to make the dream a reality. So when we're looking at days of the week here that are good, you know, Tuesday's really good for that, Thursday's really good for that, Sunday's really good for that. So those 3 days you can work on starting to take action. At least 2 or 3 days I want you to, whether it's writing something down or actually, you know, doing a Google search or researching new job opportunities, whatever, take those 3 days and make the dream closer to a reality, okay? Let's now take a look at Cancer. And Cancer, you should be feeling a big creative rush this week. And it's not just in like artistic type things. It's actually, if you're in a relationship, you may have a newfound sort of appreciation for who you're with and you want to express that. So your ability to express yourself is even more heightened than it normally is. And I would say, as long as it's you're on the sort of higher frequency of that, great. If you're in the lower frequency and you're feeling that that's getting exaggerated, then what I see being a very good event for you is, we talked earlier about getting outside. I think you need to somehow connect with the earth element. So grounding, hiking, grounding through hiking, meditation, running. I want you to sort of feel both a surge of endorphins, so exercise would be good, but also just getting out in the physical elements will be very beneficial for you if you're in the lower frequency. If you're in the higher frequency, then work with it and see what you can do to manifest it. If you just need balance, then those other things that I mentioned will help you as well. Okay, so let's now see what supplemental information the cards have for you. We have Father of Wands, or the King of Wands. King of Wands is a fantastic card for being really persuasive. So if there's something that requires you to convince other people of your ability to make it happen, this card, coupled with the Emperor that we saw on Thursday, really good day for obtaining approvals. Also, energetically, I feel like there's a surge of energy that you can do something with. So whether you decide to channel that in creative endeavors or decide to kind of like focus more on getting stronger, physical fitness, etc., it's a really good week for you. So all in all, great energy. The only thing I would say here, one last thing, what you say can come back to you. Whenever I see the snake, it's a clever card, it's a strong card, but with the Father of Wands, try to stay open-minded and try not to say something that comes back and ricochets. That's the one thing that I'm getting with this, okay? Now let's move along to the next sign. All right, let's take a look now at Leo. Leo, when I'm tuning into your information, what I'm really sensing is that there's going to be a big advantage to have face-to-face communications this week. Talk to someone in person, talk to them in the same time, same space, or if you have to, do it through a telepresence or a Skype or FaceTime, because it's going to be really important to read nonverbal cues this week. Sometimes people's words will mislead you, or you might not be able to read beneath the context of that, or read the context of it, I should say. So be very careful if you have to document anything or to send out something difficult through email, text, or other forms of traditional or written communication. Should always follow up with a face-to-face or a telephone call at the very least, but much better to be able to see one another's face. So since we're in a very internet savvy world now, there should be a way to do that. And if you can't, try to maybe delay something until you can talk in person. With that being said, let's take a look and see what additional insights the cards have for you. And we have the Hermit card in reverse. And whenever it's reversed, it's a general sort of push for you to come out of your shell a little bit. So I love that we actually see a turtle in this. The other thing is trying not to make a decision solely based on your security. You have to, there's a lot of empathy that I'm trying to put throughout all of the signs and messages this week, because it's coming through pretty clearly. So make sure that you have a balanced message, it's grounded, and that you're understanding the other person's point of view and hopefully coming up with solutions and agreements that work for everyone. So reciprocity is what I'm seeing, and also not solely looking at your own research or your own team. The Hermit reverse says reach out, talk to other people, make sure that you understand what everyone else is saying or what your competition is saying, etc. All right, let's take a look now at Virgo. Virgo, your channeled information is, this is a week when it's about you having a chance to inform or to enlighten people, because I'm seeing a candle or a flashlight. And the other part of this is I want you to seek out things that maybe before you've never had the courage to look for. So if maybe when you were growing up you were dissuaded from following a dream or looking into something that you had questions about, but your family was very traditional or didn't want you to, I want you this week to do research, knowledge acquisition, and if you're in a relationship or a job where the other person could benefit from your knowledge, find a way to share it that seems truly like it's coming from a place of kindness and that you want to be open. But try not to preach. This isn't what this is about. This is about sharing knowledge, sharing research, sharing resources, and it's also about you finding what you need. That may mean going outside of normal channels. Your family may not provide it, and you may not have it in your own library or something. You may have to go and talk to different types of people to find the information that you're looking for. So it's a week of seeking and sharing, if I had to combine the channeled information for you. As we look now at what the cards have to say, your message this week, we have the Mother of Swords here, Queen of Swords. Don't be afraid to be direct. I love the Queen of Swords. I also love that we have an owl here, which I closely associate with Athena, which makes sense for a Queen card. So this is about knowledge acquisition and also about using knowledge as your grounding stone. So if somebody is trying to get you engaged in some sort of an argument or disagreement, always bring it back to solid facts. You know, you can empathize with their frustration, but it's so much better, healthier, and advantageous for you if you simply bring it back to the facts, and do so in a direct but non-argumentative way. Just say, you know, I understand what you're saying, but we agreed to this, so let's work on getting that done. That's a way you can end an argument. You acknowledge their frustration, but we have an agreement. So let's figure out how to work through this, and then in the future we can talk about renegotiating that or whatever. So I want you to be the master, sort of like, it's almost like a litigator and a communicator, and don't be afraid to speak up or stand up for yourself. So the only thing with this card is try not to be critical. Don't come across to somebody like you don't care at all. You always have to combine empathy with facts and being like straight to the point. But you never want to just go straight to the facts, or it can be a little off-putting. All right, for Libra, the one word that came through loud and clear is love. And so for those of you that are in existing relationships, this is a week when you really should spend more time with your partners. It's also a time to love yourself, whether or not you're in a relationship, this is a time where I want you to take care of yourself. So that might be you going on a small vacation, you treating yourself to some sort of a pampering treatment or whatever, like, you know, spa day, something like that. The other thing with this is I want you to find what it is that you love and do it this week. So if you are someone who enjoys, you know, hiking or reading, writing, public speaking, engaging in politics, whatever your passion is this week, find a way to get back to your true north. Because I feel like a lot of 2017, particularly for Libra, it's been sort of like all over the compass. And so use the eclipse energy and the retrograde energy to excuse me, to realign your energy towards your goals, your aspirations, your main focus. And I think if you do that, you're going to feel a sense of almost like a sense of rebirth happening this week, and that's exactly what I would love for you to experience. All right, let's take a look now and see what the cards have to say for you this week. Your message here is Daughter of Pentacles in reverse. So I really want you to watch. There's a lot of messages about grounding this week, but I want you to watch how you're spending money, how you're spending time, and also if you're feeling like everything's sort of not quite focused, this is a week where you want to put an agenda or a schedule down and start to create some order in your life. I also get a sense that, you know, there may be some of you that are feeling stuck, or you know, I actually get a quick flash of the Hanged Man in association with this card, even though I'm only pulling one. So if there's been one particular element of your past 2017, of this past year, that isn't working, isn't allowing for you to move forward, then I want you to create some other things in your life that can allow for you to make traction. And then you can turn this card upright and start to move forward. Because I feel like there's a little bit of tension pulling at your movement and your energy. And so the desired outcome here is going to require a slight change in your focus and how you're managing the day-to-day. If you do that, I believe you'll be on a good path. Notice that rainbow, so at the end of some of this struggle is a beautiful path ahead. All right, let's take a look now at Scorpio. Scorpio, as I focus on you, I'm seeing a need for you to speak up, particularly for those of you that are in an office or at school. Participation is going to be really important. If you are too quiet or simply omit your opinion, you may either regret that later, or people may misinterpret your lack of communication as a lack of support. So even if you just wanted to tell someone, wow, that was a great idea, I'm behind you, or sounds good, let's do it, that's going to be what they need to know, that you're on their team, you have their back. So don't be afraid to even just add affirmations to things. That would be great. The other thing is to also ask other people if they need anything this week. It all boils down to participation and visibility. So if you're at a point where you feel like, I've got this under control, you could talk to someone else and say, listen, you look like you could use a hand. Would you, can I do something for you? That proactive communication will also suit you very well, or serve you very well, I should say, in the long run. So offer up your help, offer up your support, participate. Don't be a wallflower this week. All right, let's now take a look at whatever supplementary information wants to come through in the cards. We have King of Swords, Father of Swords here. A lot of communication cards that I see this week. Now, the thing with the Father of Swords or the King of Swords, I would say this is very direct. There's no need to sort of explain yourself at great length here. So there may be people that are looking to you for a decision, and sometimes it's hard. You have to just go with what you can, like make the best decision you can and move forward. So don't be afraid to go on the line if you have to and say, all right, I'm gonna give this a shot. And this is based on the best information that we have. They're looking to you for leadership. If you don't have the information, you need to ask questions, then get a task team together for that. For relationships, this is about simply stating what you need, what your expectations are, not assuming things and not punishing people for not meeting up to those assumptions, which we talked about a little bit earlier. So clear communication, direct communication, and honestly, for those of you that are already gifted at this, this is a really great time to use that tool to your advantage. So if you are someone who's really good at like writing and want to do an opinion editorial piece, feel free to do that. Or if you have other ways of expressing yourself, like through dance or whatever, this is a really great time to compose a new piece or something like that. Use your direct communication skills to your advantage. Sagittarius, the one thing that I'm getting for you very, very clearly is that it's important to be kind and warm. I literally got sort of a warm energy that surrounded me, so I feel like your warmth towards others, your compassion towards others is going to be really key. And the place that I was feeling it was across the heart and also across the lungs. So for those of you that might have any sort of agitation or seasonal allergies that are affecting your respiratory system, particularly the top of your lungs, they're feeling itchy or inflamed, I want you to get those taken care of. For the rest of you, I want you to work on expanding the heart chakra through exercises and meditation, since I was feeling an activation of warmth there. And remembering to do things, this is really a month and a week for unconditional acts of kindness. That's where the warmth and the activation's coming in for that. Okay, let's now see what the cards have to say for your contributions and how you can do that this week. So we have the Seven of Wands, which is showing, and it's reversed. With this, first of all, I just want to kind of like acknowledge you guys are pretty busy and doing a good job of managing that work. And what I feel like though is that it's okay if you needed to ask for help. You're already coming through and shining as a great member of the family or member of the team or leader. And a lot of times good leaders don't need to sort of get so deep in the weeds that they can't see what's going on. So if you're in a position of leadership, allow other people to step in and do their work, and don't be afraid to delegate. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you're not in a leadership position, the same thing holds true. A lot of times we think that, you know, it's not going to work if I give it to this person. Well, see if it will, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, and you know that for the future. But I want you to conserve your energy. And what this is going to do is put you in a very positive light and make you seem like you are confident, sharing, and willing to allow other people to have their moment in the light. All right, Capricorn, what I'm really sensing for you this week is that despite what I sense is going to be a very busy and eventful week, it's really important for you to have these moments of tranquility or quiet. And what I'm seeing for you, even as I'm paying attention and looking through the display here, I was looking at the tree leaves sort of gently moving. This is about flow, momentum, and you not pushing things too much. So I've talked in other videos, and I can't remember if it was a weekly or one of the monthlies because I'm doing a lot lately, but I pay attention to subtle things as I'm driving my car, walking my dog, taking a walk myself, and I look and see, should I go down this street? Is this the right move? The same things I would do in big decisions in my life, but if I am walking and I see like a police blockade, I'll go the other direction. I'm not the kind of person that's going to go and try to get involved in that mess because there's already people taking care of it. If I'm trying to go to a grocery store and it's the lot's completely filled, I think, well, I can do this tomorrow. There's no rush. So I want you to approach your day-to-day activities the same way. If there's a lot of commotion at work, ask yourself, do I need to get involved with that mess, or should I focus on what's in front of me? Same thing in your school or family life. Think about what is deserving of your attention, and then if you pace yourself and do things right, I think you're going to have a little bit of downtime this week. And during that downtime, great productivity and ideas could start to flow in, because once you're rested, you have more patience, you have more to give. Also, when you're resting, I know I come up with some of the best ideas when I'm walking my dog, and or if I'm taking a shower or something. When I'm not engaged fully in the task at hand, all of a sudden it comes to me. Or if I talk to a friend about something, I can talk my way through the problem, and I think to myself, why couldn't I do that on my own? It's always better if we're not so attached, or if we release it a little bit because we're sharing it with someone. So let go, relax, flow. And as I was, like I said, as I was looking through the computer monitor here, I could see the leaves moving in the background. So it is sort of about being flexible. Exercise your flexibility this week. I think it will help. All right, so let's see if there's additional insights that the cards want to bring forth for you. So for many of you, this is going to be a very transformative week. We have the Death card here. I'm probably one of the few readers that does not get afraid when I see the Death card. If I were to create my own deck, which hopefully one day I will, this would be more of a transformative or like a phoenix or a rebirth card. So for you, you're going to have a chance to step away from something. And I spent a lot of energy at the beginning of your channeled information talking about looking at the signs. So see where the stagnancy is in your life. See where the dead ends or the blockades are. Move past them. Move around them. Let them go. And this could also be stagnating relationships, a job that's leading nowhere, or a feeling of, I don't want to be, either like if you're sad or if you're angry or if you're feeling like this need for a vendetta, whatever it is, you'll eventually realize that emotion, you're just ready to let it go. And I'm sure you've had this in your life where if you've broken up with someone, for instance, one day you just stop thinking about them, and it's amazing. Or if someone passes away and it was really difficult, you notice that each passing month and year, usually it eases. It's harder for some losses in our lives, but we find a way back to putting energy in love and life and other things, and we celebrate what really is worth putting energy into. So for Aquarius, what I'm seeing for you this week is a sense that I'm seeing a right angle, actually. So this is telling me that you're going to have a change of activity, a change of direction than what you normally would do. This could come from an unexpected bit of news or a really different change in your routine that you weren't anticipating, or even if you were anticipating it, it's going to be quite different than what you're normally accustomed to. I see it as positive though, because a lot of times we will find ourselves in a rut or a very comfortable place, but we don't always grow when we're either experiencing or thinking the same things. So embrace the change that's coming through this week. Enjoy the change of setting, scenery, or thinking that you're experiencing, and know that it's actually going to bring you to new horizons. You'll meet new people, you'll experience a different way of thinking that's going to open up opportunities. All right, let's see what the cards have to add to that message for you. Actually, this card wants to come. And so we have the Seven of Pentacles, which I really like the way it's illustrated here. It's a card of steady, slow growth and repair. And so for some of you, this means taking the first steps, towards putting together your retirement or saving money for your future or paying down debts. It can also mean that you're taking your own personal health more seriously, perhaps working on overcoming some setbacks that you might have had. And if you've been generally healthy and okay with money, it's about thinking, where can I grow? Where can I change? What new things can I add to my life to make it more interesting? It's a card of growth across the board, but it usually has an undercurrent of repair or restoration in it as well. So it's about letting go of something that you didn't like. It can also literally mean getting rid of something and replacing it, but usually the way I interpret it is acknowledging where you need to grow, stepping into that place of growth. It's a place of self-empowerment, essentially. Finally, let's take a look at you, Pisces, and your information this week is all about redemption, second chances. Your second chances and other people in your life that may be seeking one from you or with you. So be open, be considerate, and see if this feels right for you. But know that if there's something in your life where, even if you can't get the forgiveness of someone, or you feel like you're not going to be able to prove to everyone in your life that you're worthy of the second chance, give yourself the second chance. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is, are you happy with the progress that you're making as a person, in your life, etc. So I want you to work on self-redemption, forgiving yourself for any mistakes, problems, issues that might have popped up, and then also being a lot more loving and supportive of yourself, remembering that the blessing of the week was the abundance and the opportunity. So just this second chance, just the fact that you tuned in today and are ready now to maybe let go of something and think, you know what, at least I'm working on it for me, and it doesn't matter so much if the other person accepts my work, my apology, whatever. It's just enough that I'm trying to become a better person. It's like climbing a ladder. You've got to take the action to get higher and go further in your own path. No one can climb the ladder for you. So keep on climbing. Don't worry what other people think. But do check in and see if you have a second chance with someone. It might work out this week. All right, let's see if the cards have any additional insights for you. And we have the Three of Cups. So what I think would be great this week is really getting out in social groups and activities. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration. It's a card of expanding your social group. It's also a card that reminds you to take everything that you hear, whether it comes to gossip or, you know, just word of mouth, as just basically that. Take it with a grain of salt. It's what someone else said. He said, she said. So on the bright side, lots of chances for you to socially expand your sphere, but also opportunities to avoid gossip or miscommunications. But I do want you see them all out on a limb. I want you to take one chance this week that will allow you to be a little bit more social, talking to someone you don't know, doing something you wouldn't normally do, signing up for an activity that may be out of your normal sort of comfort zone. It could really open up new energy for you and new opportunity. So that brings this reading to a close. Just to summarize, I want you to embrace your all the things that are great and abundant in your life and say thank you. To remain focused on what you're looking for in the universe, in your life, that whatever you want to bring into fruition, the universe is looking to you to be specific and clear on that. And a reminder, a very important self-care day is Sunday. Pay attention to anything going on in your body and take care of it. As we look at the rest of the week, put up your limits on Monday, say no, try not to spend time or energy unnecessarily. Be more specific in what you're looking for Monday and Tuesday, broaden perspective on Wednesday, definitely have good empathy skills on Wednesday as well. Thursday and Friday, they're going to be much better days for working with people, working with groups, but Friday becomes another self-care day, as does Saturday. And Sunday is a day for you to focus on growth for the following week. I'm not going in as deep in that because we already did that when I wrapped it up before. With all that being said, I just want to say thank you so much. I'll see you again in a week. Hopefully I'll have that one up on time. I'm going to wait until I've recovered and do the video on the weekend next week, so it won't be up early. I just want to say thank you for the likes, the subscribes, and all the support. If you really found this was useful and you'd like to donate, there is a link in the description area. To stay informed on when I put new videos up, a great way to do that is to subscribe and opt into notifications. That's that little bell icon. Or you can sign up for my newsletter. There'll be links within the video and then in the description as well for that. Otherwise, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So join me on as few or as little as you'd like. Last and most importantly, keep working hard on yourselves. That's why we're here every week. That's the important thing. We're all trying to make ourselves better so we can make the world better as a whole. So keep shining brightly, keep sharing the love, and remember to focus on what matters to you this week so that it can happen, and to thank not only the God or gods out there, but also to thank people in your life for what they're bringing to you. All right, much love, much abundance. I'll see you again in a week's time. Bye-bye.